For this activity, we're going to do some handwriting warm-up lines. All you need is a paper and something to write with. I'm going to start out with my very favorite pen and start right up near the top, and we're going to start on the left-hand side. So over here we've got the left side of my paper that is usually shown with our red margin that goes all the way down along the side if you're using lined paper like I am. For your first line, I'm going to have you try to make little circles and try to make them spaced so that another circle could fit perfectly between them and connect them so that they look like a chain of circles. Kind of like how I connected these three, except we don't want the one in the middle. We want to leave just the same amount of space for this one, for this warm up. Notice that my circles are half the size of the line. If you have lines to guide your writing, if you have paper with lines, this can be helpful. If you have plain paper, that is also okay to practice your letters, your shapes just like that. This first line, you can see I did that as best I could to space them, with the exception of that one that was right in the middle. But for this next one, I'm going to show you they're a little bit unevenly spaced. Maybe I'm going a bit faster. And there we go. So I got my circles in the row and I'm done. But this time, notice that my spacing isn't even. There's just a little space here, more space between these two circles, even more between these two. There's also some errors, like I have letters that are going below the baseline. Here we have letters that is going below the baseline. And it's kind of hard to see. We have one that's floating a little bit here, another one that's not closed. So with our warm-up, we're really just focusing on consistency, making our shapes just right. For the next pattern, you can do zigzags. You know, I actually changed my mind after my first one. Let's make our zigzags go all the way up, touch the top line, touch the bottom, up and down. Try to make them even. I've started this off very even so far, but if I were to go more quickly, you notice that I might have more trouble making it even. You can see where I started to go quickly because the zigzags aren't the same size. They don't have the same amount of distance between the points at the bottom. And they're also, some of them are going below the baseline. They're just not neat. They're not consistent. So when you're trying to do your handwriting warm-up lines, your practice lines, try to make them as consistent and even as you can. For the next one, we're going to do U-curve, N-curve, U-curve, or sometimes I like to call them rainbow curves. And for this one, I'm going to try to make them in the small letter space. So on this paper, most people write their letters like this. We've got our tall letters that are going from the bottom line all the way up to the top line. And a small letter would be half as tall, like this lowercase a. So try to make your squiggle lines, your rainbow curves, and your U-curves, make them so that they're pretty even as much as you can. Try to make them the size of the small letter space as you're going, taking your time. This isn't a race, we're not rushing. Nice, even movement. We're also moving, we're trying our best to move our fingers to make these marks, not moving our whole arm. I've got my forearm, my arm is stabilized on the table so that I'm not trying to hold it up here and make a squiggle line. Can you imagine how difficult it would be if we were to hold our arms up while we were writing and we didn't stabilize them? So I'm going to rest my wrist again. Let's do, how about an ocean curve line next? So this one is the one that goes up, magic C, up, magic C. Just like that.